That happened as it approaches the coast. It's now just about 200 miles or so from both Charleston and Savannah. The latest advisory out of the National Hurricane Center in Miami puts the top winds now up to 125 miles an hour. And while we don't expect any more significant strengthening, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could see just a little bit more. The hurricane continues to move on toward the northwest. We haven't seen any change in that. And here you see a very well-defined picture of this eye of the hurricane, about 30 miles in diameter, moving toward the northwest now at just about 20 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and show you some movement and show you what the movement has been from a little bit different perspective. And if you follow that eye, you can see that it is moving right straight toward the northwest. Now, the last advisory we have in the Hurricane Center and looking at the probabilities and all that seems to shift the probability up the coast just a little bit. And if this trend holds, the eye is likely to come ashore maybe along the South Carolina. We wouldn't border southern part here. We wouldn't want to take Savannah by any means off the hook. We'll have to watch it very carefully because it could change just a little bit in direction. Now let's look at the radar. We have an action radar. Do we have an action radar? Yeah, here's a radar we wanted to show you out of Charleston. Now this is the Charleston radar. And if you look down on the right hand of your picture, you can see the circular bands that are coming along fairly rapidly in the eye of the hurricane right down here. In a few more hours, I think we'll be able to see the eye of this hurricane in its entirety. In any case, you can see lots of rain spreading through Savannah, spreading over into the eastern part of Georgia as this hurricane continues to move toward the northwest with maximum winds of 125 miles an hour. Let's go ahead now and look at the particulars. This is a new advisory from the Hurricane Center, 30.6 north, 77.8 west, 220 miles southeast of Savannah. Top winds now 125, and it is moving toward the northwest about 20 miles an hour. Now, at this rate, and we don't expect to see it change very much, the eye of the hurricane could well be ashore by midnight tonight. And, of course, we would expect hurricane-force winds to set in a good while before that. If we look at the gales now extending out 200 miles from the center, you see they're not very far from the coast at all. And the hurricane-force winds are extending now out about 100 miles. We're going to have this updated for you. Again, we'll show you a picture of the radar, and we can see the center is right out in this area, again, moving toward the northwest. Rainfall is going to be a major problem with the hurricane. It's going to continue to be after it moves inland, and some of this heavy rain is going to spread up the eastern seaboard as well. Hurricane warnings now extend all the way from Oregon Inlet right down to Fernandina Beach. They've been extended north now on this last advisory. And here you see the probability shifting a little bit into South Carolina, suggesting that the landfall may well be somewhere along the South Carolina coast. Now, the storm surge may be 10 to 15 feet now above normal, so that could have some very severe consequences, especially if it comes in on high tide. And here's where the high tides are in the morning. Hopefully it might get in before that, but around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Comes in on low tide, might see a total tide of about 10 feet if we had, say, a 10-foot storm surge. But if it comes in on high tide, it could be 16 feet and even quite a bit higher than that if the storm surge gets up to 15 feet or so. Iris is weakened. We don't have to worry much